Abort! Abort! He's too fast. April 12, 1944. 28,000 feet above northern France. The sky is a hard, washed-out blue, so cold it feels brittle. At this altitude, breath fogs inside oxygen masks, and every vibration of the engine travels straight through bone. The P-51 Mustang slices eastward, silver fuselage catching the sun in brief, blinding flashes as it holds formation with the bomber stream behind it. Second Lieutenant James Jimmy Hale, 22 years old, United States Army Air Forces, grips the control stick with gloved hands that still feel too new inside the cockpit. He is a rookie, 9 combat hours to his name, no kills, no scars, no stories worth telling back at the mess. His call sign hasn't earned weight yet. To the veterans, he's still the kid. Below him, the English Channel has already fallen away. France is ahead. Enemy airspace. The Mustang's Packard-built Merlin V1650 engine hums smooth and confident, a deep mechanical purr that promises speed if asked for it. Fuel gauges are steady. Ammunition counters untouched. The long-range escort mission is routine on paper. Shepherd the B-17s to their targets, keep the Luftwaffe off them, bring everyone home. Routine never survives first contact. At 28,000 feet, contrails begin to appear, thin white scars slashing across the sky from high right to low left. Hale's eyes snap to them instinctively. They're not bombers. His radio crackles. Blue 2. You seeing that traffic at 1 o'clock high? It's Captain Robert Tex, Langford, flight leader, veteran of North Africa and Italy. Calm voice, flat tone. That alone tightens Hale's chest. I see him, Hale answers. Multiple contacts. 9 dark specks detach from the sun. They drop fast. Focke-Wulf FW-190s. Radial engines. Broad wings. Heavy cannon. The Luftwaffe's favorite brawler. Hale has seen them in recognition manuals, studied their silhouettes under harsh briefing room lights. Seeing them now, growing larger by the second, noses down, guns already aligned, is different. This is not a diagram. This is intent. The German fighters punch through the escort screen with disciplined spacing, rolling into attack formation like wolves fanning out before a kill. Their leader rocks his wings once, a silent command. The first burst of 20mm cannon fire rips through the air where Hale had been half a second earlier. Break! Break! Langford shouts. Hale reacts before thinking. He slams the stick left and down, Mustang snapping into a high-G dive. The world outside tilts violently. His harness bites into his shoulders. The Merlin engine roars as he pushes the throttle forward, manifold pressure spiking. Tracer rounds flash past his canopy. Green, red, white, curving lines of death stitching the sky behind him. This is no single attacker. This is a pack. Blue 3's hit, someone yells. Another voice cuts off mid-sentence. Hale doesn't look back. He can't afford to. The P-51 plunges through 26,000 feet. 25,000. 24,000. Airspeed climbs past 420 miles per hour. The Mustang begins to feel alive in his hands. Responsive, eager, built for exactly this moment. The FW-190s follow, but they're heavier, their radial engines screaming as they try to stay with him. Hale levels out just enough to build speed, then banks hard right. The horizon swings. France spins beneath him. Patchwork fields, thin rivers, villages reduced to tiny gray smudges far below. FW-190 flashes past his canopy. So close Hale sees the pilot's goggles and white scarf. The German overshoots, too much closure speed. Jesus! Hale mutters into his mask. Another FW-190 slides in behind him, guns flashing. The Mustang shudders as rounds punch holes through the airflow inches from the tail. Hale shoves the throttle through the gate into war emergency power. The Merlin responds instantly, the aircraft surging forward as if kicked. The airspeed needle creeps higher. 440. 450. The German behind him can't close the gap. Hale doesn't know it yet, but in the cockpit of the lead FW-190, Oberleutnant Carl Weiss is frowning. His gun sight refuses to steady. The American isn't slowing. He's accelerating clean, straight, impossibly fast for a dive that long. Weiss keys his radio. Keep pressure. He must level out. But Hale doesn't. Instead, he drops another 1,000 feet, then snaps into a shallow climb, converting speed into altitude with textbook precision. Something drilled into him back in training, something he never expected to trust with his life. The FW-190s struggle to follow. Their engines howl. Their formation stretches. Discipline frays. Hale feels it, the sudden lightness, the moment where the enemy's presence behind him weakens. He exhales for the first time in what feels like minutes. Then the German radio net explodes with panic. Abort! Abort! He's too fast. The vertical escape. The words echo through German headsets just as Hale pitches the Mustang harder into the climb. The P-51 shudders at the edge of its envelope, wings trembling as speed bleeds off and altitude comes back in exchange. Hale watches the airspeed needle dip, for 30, for 10, then steadies it with minute pressure on the stick, remembering his instructor's voice back in Texas. Don't yank her. Let the airplane fly. Behind him, the sky fractures. 2 FW-190s attempt to follow the climb. Their noses rise too steeply, engines clawing for air that grows thinner by the second. One drops a wing and falls away, spiraling down in a desperate half-roll to recover speed. Another fires a short, angry burst that goes nowhere near the Mustang. Hale crests at 21,000 feet, rolls inverted, and dives again. Not straight down this time, but diagonally, slashing across the sky like a thrown blade. The Merlin screams as he shoves the throttle forward once more. The Mustang answers with raw acceleration. The radio crackles again. Blue 2. Where the hell did you learn to fly like that? Langford demands.
Hale Sialos.
Guess I'm learning right now, sir. Below him, the bomber stream is gone, lost in cloud and chaos. The fight has pulled him clear of the formation, alone now over occupied France, with enemy fighters still circling like sharks that haven't quite decided to disengage. One hasn't. A single FW-190 slips in from low 6 o'clock, patient, disciplined. Hale feels it before he sees it, the pressure, the tightening of space behind him. He checks his mirrors. There. The German pilot doesn't fire. He waits. Hale banks left. The FW-190 mirrors the move. He banks right. Same response. This one is good. The Mustang and the Focke-Wulf spiral downward together. A tightening corkscrew, each pilot testing the other's nerve. Hale's breath comes fast inside the mask. His mouth is dry. His hands ache from the strain of constant control input. He glances at the engine gauges, temps climbing but still in the green. Fuel holding. The Merlin can take more. Trust the airplane, he tells himself. Hale shoves the nose down and commits to a full-power dive. The Mustang lunges. Airspeed rockets past 470 miles per hour. The airframe begins to hum. A deep, resonant vibration that rattles his teeth. Control surfaces stiffen. The stick grows heavy in his hands. The FW-190 tries to stay with him. For 3 seconds it does. Then it can't. The German fighter begins to lag, its radial engine howling in protest as compressibility creeps in. The distance between them stretches yards, then dozens of yards, then more. In the FW-190 cockpit, the pilot curses. His controls feel mushy. The American is no longer a target, he's a streak. Verdammt. He's pulling away. He mutters, keying his mic. Cannot hold him. Above them, Weiss hears it and makes the call. All aircraft, break off pursuit. Regroup west. The order is sharp, final.
No debate.
Hale doesn't know the words, but he feels the change. The pressure behind him evaporates. The sky opens. He eases back on the throttle, careful not to overstress the engine, and climbs gradually, scanning every quadrant.
No traces.
No shadows sliding into firing position. Just empty blue. For the first time since the attack began, Hale is alone. His heart pounds so hard it feels like it might crack a rib. Sweat pools in his gloves. He realizes his jaw hurts. He's been clenching it since the first burst of cannon fire. Blue 2. Langford's voice comes again, lower now. Status. Hale checks his instruments, his wings, his tail. A few holes in the skin, nothing structural.
I'm
clear, he says. Aircraft okay. There's a pause. Then, quietly, good flying, son. The Mustang turns west, nose pointed toward the channel and home. Hale sets a steady cruise and lets the adrenaline drain, leaving behind a strange, hollow calm. Only then does it sink in what almost happened. 9 enemy fighters. Alone. No cover. No experience to lean on. Just speed. As the English coast finally emerges from the haze, Hale allows himself a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. The Merlin settles into its familiar rhythm, as if nothing extraordinary has occurred. But somewhere over France, German pilots are still talking, voices tight, incredulous, about a lone American rookie in a silver fighter who didn't fight them at all. He simply outran them. Debriefing room silence. The Mustang's wheels touch English soil at RAF Debden just after noon. Hale eases the P-51 down the runway, tail settling, brakes whispering as the aircraft rolls out beneath a low ceiling of gray cloud. The moment the engine cuts, the sudden silence feels unnatural, like stepping out of a storm into an empty church. Ground crewmen jog toward the fighter, already pointing at the peppered aluminum skin along the fuselage and tail. One whistles softly. Looks like Jerry wanted you bad, he says. Hale nods but doesn't answer. His hands are still trembling as he unstraps and climbs down from the cockpit. When his boots hit the tarmac, his knees nearly buckle. He steadies himself against the wing, palm pressed to cold metal. Only now, safe on the ground, does the weight of it land. In the debriefing hut, the air smells of cigarette smoke and damp wool. Maps cover the walls, France crisscrossed with grease pencil lines marking targets, flak belts, and known fighter concentrations. Pilots sit on benches, some staring into tin mugs, others talking in short, clipped sentences that never quite describe what they saw. Hale takes a seat near the end of the table. Captain Langford stands at the front, helmet under one arm, eyes moving slowly from face to face as he counts heads. 2 seats are empty. Let's get started, Langford says. The intelligence officer begins asking questions. Altitudes, headings, enemy types, estimated numbers.
answers come mechanically.
Hale listens until his call sign comes up. Blue 2, the officer says, pencil poised. Report your engagement. Every eye in the room turns toward him. Hale clears his throat. I was at 28,000 when the FW-190s came in from 1 o'clock high, broke down and left. They stayed on me. How many?
Hale hesitates.
9. At least that many. The pencil pauses mid-stroke. 9, the officer repeats. Langford's head tilts slightly, but he doesn't interrupt.
I dove alle continues.
Built speed. They couldn't close. Tried to follow me through a climb. Lost 2 immediately. Another stuck with me for a bit, but he couldn't hold it in the dive. Silence. One of the veteran pilots lets out a low breath. 9 Focke-Wulfs don't just give up. They did, Hale says quietly. They broke off. The intelligence officer looks up. Any shots fired by you? Hale shakes his head. No, sir. That earns a few raised eyebrows. Langford steps in then. His aircraft took hits. Minor damage. But he brought it home. The officer nods slowly and makes a final note. All right, that'll do. As the room begins to empty, Langford stops Hale at the door. Walk with me. Outside, the wind cuts across the airfield, carrying the distant sound of engines and the metallic clatter of maintenance crews at work. They stop beside Hale's Mustang. Up close, the damage is clearer. Ragged holes along the fuselage, flaked paint near the tailplane. Langford studies it for a moment. You didn't panic, he says.
Hale siallos.
Felt like I was about to. But you didn't, Langford replies. You trusted the Mustang. A lot of pilots don't. They want to turn and fight everything. Hale looks at the aircraft. I just went fast. Langford allows himself a thin smile. That's the trick most of them never learn. That evening, word spreads through the squadron. Quiet at first, then with growing emphasis. A rookie, first month in combat, had drawn off 9 FW-190s and lived to tell it. No victory markings appear beneath Hale's canopy.
No headlands.
No official tally changes. But in the mess hall, someone raises a mug when Hale walks in. To the kid who outran the Luftwaffe. Laughter breaks the tension. Hale smiles, awkward and unsure. But inside something has shifted. The fear is still there. He knows it always will be. But it no longer owns him. He has crossed an invisible line. Across the channel, at a Luftwaffe field in northern France, pilots debrief as well. Voices Arsène officer listens as Weiss explains the pursuit, the dive, the impossible speed. The American never fired, Weiss says. He didn't need to. Harper, tempers shorter. An officer listens as Weiss explains the pursuit, the dive, the impossible speed. The American never fired, Weiss says. He didn't need to. The officer exhales through his nose. Then remember this, he says. Do not chase Mustangs downhill. The lesson is written into memory, passed from pilot to pilot. And for Hale, the rookie who survived by speed alone, the war goes on longer, harder, and far deadlier than he yet knows. But on this day, in this sky, the radio call says everything that matters. Abort. Abort. He's too fast. ND.